Yeah, so we are ending preventable disease in dogs and using dog DNA testing. But I'm going to start with a question that you probably don't expect from a dog DNA testing company. But how long do you think you'll live? Well, in 1900, in America at least, the answer was about 47 years for most people. Now, with the innovations in health and public health, we're at 79 years. Does anybody think that they're going to beat Jean Clément? Pardon my French pronunciation. But does anybody think that they might be able to beat 122? I like optimists. How about 200? Do you think you can beat 200? Nobody even in a startup challenge here in Boston? Well, that gets us to the question of how do you cure aging? And it's a question that people have started asking, but they've really, for hundreds of years, the paradigm has been, well, how do you cure each disease? And even if we cured all cancer, you can add about 4 years, and now we're at 83. And smoking, now we get up to 85. And obesity, maybe we're at 89. You know, I could list out every disease here, maybe we'd get to 100. You know, most of them are not going to have that big of an effect because they don't affect as many people. So this has been noticed, and in the last decade, you have a proliferation of companies, of thought leaders, of universities, of researchers who have approached it a little bit differently and said, well, can we promote wellness? And what is making some people live 40 years longer than the rest of us? And a lot of that, and a lot of the research is also focused on genetics and genetics by environment interactions. Well, now I want to get to an even crazier question. Well, can we do better than the 50% increase that billions of dollars have gone into these companies to do? And can we shortcut the decades and decades of very expensive research to do it? Well, if only we had a species that had a larger variance in our natural lifespan, maybe we could find a way to live 200% longer instead of 50% longer. So I have that same figure there, but now let's substitute in a little bit different years, and that species is, of course, the dog. So you have Bernese mountain dogs that are only living to about 7 on average. You can get up to 12 for labs, 16 for Yorkies. You have Bluey, the Australian cattle dog, longest lived dog at 29 years old, which is about 200 for a human. So apparently Bluey, at least, has figured it out. But that's not the only advantage. The dog is really the new model for translational medicine. Really a best friend of the medical community now. So they have a relatively short lifespan, so you're doing research in dog years, not people years. They have the best medical care and records outside of humans. They experience very similar causes of death and diseases of aging, and in fact have already been very useful as a model species for diseases from muscular dystrophy to OCD and many others. A lot of that is because they live in our environment. They're adapted to eat the same kind of food we are. They're much more compliant with the research protocols than humans are. They're easy to handle, study, and care for. They cost nothing to house, at least from a researcher standpoint. People are already paying. They cost, and they're very cheap to conduct research on. And in fact, there's twice as many dogs born in America as humans every year. So my brother and I had been studying dog genetics, actually, academically for a decade. And we noticed all of this and said, well, why isn't there a 23andMe for dogs? In fact, we can do 23andMe better than they can do 23andMe. And so we founded Embark. And it's the only comprehensive, research-capable dog DNA test in a similar vein to your 23andMes. Just some highlights of where we've been and what we're doing. So we launched our test in 2016. It provides comprehensive information about your dog for you and your vet. So it's breed information, yes, but over 160 genetic diseases, traits, and all sorts of other things. We got our first 20,000 customers in half the time it's taken 23andMe. We, in fact, got our first publishable discovery about a month ago. Took half the time that it took 23andMe. We've seen 300% growth year over year, and we're expecting to hit profitability in August. So we're doing all this research, and our customers are paying for it. And they're getting exactly what they want. Our NPS is 84. Over 90% of our customers are recommending us to their friends, to their family. So we think what we're doing is really something. Now, I could put up a slide where our co-founders and my brother is a professor of dog genetics actually at Cornell, the leading vet school. The dean of the Stanford School of Medicine is one of our scientific advisors, and we have leaders in aging and cancer in canines and all of that. But really, the team that we have is just absolutely amazing in every level, and I couldn't do it without them. So, by the way, if you are inspired to find out more about your pup, you can go to embarkvet.com, and there is a coupon code Boston Startup if you want to try it out for yourself.